Hi, this is Kerry Artak with Wicked Stocks, bringing you the daily Tesla report for Monday, October 16th, 2023. Before I click through all the charts, as usual, just want to encourage you to please click like if you haven't already. Become a Wicked Stocks YouTube channel subscriber. Share the content, if you would, with friends and colleagues. And check out wickedstocks.com, where we offer a full suite of both daily and weekly analytical videos, just like the Tesla report, daily analysis in the SPY and the Triple Q, that is the S&P 500 and NASDAQ 100 ETFs, weekly analysis in the S&P 500 index, the NASDAQ 100 index, the long bond ETF, the TLT, as well as 2 individual stock picks a week you never see on YouTube that cater to the 3 to 5 week swing trader out to the 3 to 5 month near-term investor. We're always looking for 20% moves on those stock picks. You can check everything out that we've done over the last few weeks, the last few days, for no cost whatsoever. By signing up for wickedstocks.com, we offer a 5-day free trial up front. And you can check out everything. If you don't like what you see, you can bow out at no cost to you. But I suspect you may stick around once you see everything that we offer on a daily and weekly basis. So on with the charts. I'm going to start with the big picture, work my way in. Just a reminder that we fell off of this channel top a few months ago. At the time we were testing it, I mentioned how the market was susceptible to falling to the channel bottom. Within a month or two, we did test it about 6 weeks later, this week at 245.08. This is a big test this week for the market, and we are likely to test it here, quite possibly on Monday. I'll get to that in a moment. But we've tested it 2 or 3 times over the last month and a half, 2 months, and each time we test it, I mentioned how this channel top at 297.50 should be considered a 3 to 5 week target, and the channel top well above the market at 347.50 should be considered a 3 to 5 month objective. This despite the fact that it was a solid 2 months ago when we actually tested this channel bottom for the first time. We're about 3 weeks into having tested it just a few weeks ago. 245.08, it's 244.70 on the daily chart. We do need to close below it by a full 1% margin at the end of the week for it to be considered a sell signal. I'll jump to that actually right now. If we do close this week below 245.08, ultimately, it needs to be a Friday settlement at 242.63 or lower, which is the 1% violation of 245.08. Now, on an intra-week basis, during the week, I'll go to the daily chart version. You can see 244.70, merely closing below 244.70. And yes, I think it wise to use the 242.63 1% violation, just so that you've got a more reliable sell signal as we move into later week. In other words, closing below 244.70, 227.08 is likely within a matter of 3 to 5 days. We could certainly bottom out here for a day, possibly into next week. Rotate back into the mid 240s, upper 240s by that point in time within a full week of activity. That is quite possible, but 192.55 I think stands out as a realistic 3 to 5 week downside objective. Now this could take the better part of 2 months if we bottom out at 227.08, let's say, for a week, and then rally back into the upper 240s and then fall off again. So that's why I give these sell signals more time to play out than what they might appear like on a chart. You could see closing below 245.08 by the 1% margin could actually yield the 190s within 3 to 5 weeks, but I'd say the better part of 2 months. And the reason I'm bringing that up is for you options traders, if we close below 245.08 or 244.70 on the daily chart, you might reach for 190 out of the money puts that don't expire. I would go 3 months out on that expiration. 2 months is too close to call. The further out you go, of course, the pricier the premium is, the pricier those out of the money puts will be, but the more reliable they'll be in terms of delta relationship to the underlying stock, this Tesla stock price. So I'm not going to get too deep into that. Bottom line, the mid 240s, 244.70 to 245.08 is your base of support this week. And by the way, following last Friday's settlement below the 257.59 channel bottom, I'm expecting it over the next day or two, quite possibly today. On the way down, I've got 247.71 today. Nothing more than a 5/8 downside Fibonacci off that September low against the recent high from last week. I don't put a lot into it, but it is a solid day trade level for aggressive day traders. Breaking 247.71, I think 245.08 is likely today. That is part of a range down to 244.70 that once again may well contain selling not only for the week, but through the rest of the year. And if settled below, and I'll go back to this chart, if we close today below 244.70, I think 227.08 not out of the question by Friday's close. And then assuming, of course, we close the week itself below 245.08 by the 1% margin of 242.63, we can anticipate the upper 180s, low 190s within possibly as little as 3 to 5 weeks. And that pretty much covers the downside. Let's take a look at the upside today. I'm actually going to switch to this chart here, that if we push or open today above 257.59, 263.62 is likely. And if we close today above 257.59, I think we have a good low for the week. This 268.58 trend line then likely within a day or two where we can place a daily high. But overall, I'll say that closing back above 257.59 should yield 274.15 within 3 to 5 days. So that 257.59 channel bottom is right about here on the chart. If we close above it, I give it 3 to 5 days before reaching 274.15, where we could top out quite possibly through next week. This has been bumped up to a 3-star weekly resistance area, able to contain weekly buying pressures when tested, and if settled above, should then yield that 298.14 channel top within just another week or two. That is once again on the weekly chart at 297.50. So let me get back to the day itself. Day traders play the short side at 257.59, anticipating 245.08. Day traders buy 245.08. 3 to 5 day swing traders buy 245.08. 3 to 5 week and 3 to 5 month traders buy 245.08. 3 to 5 day swing traders, then perhaps if we test 245.08, you're holding out for some variation of this 274.15 channel top, which by that point will have a softer angle of rising, but it'll still be a structure that will be following, I would call it the low to mid 270s, in reach within a week or two of testing 245.08. So this is where swing traders can go long at 245.08 and perhaps hold out for 274.15, or at the very least 268.58, the simple trend line coming off these highs. Now, let's talk upside, that if, once again, we close above 257.59, I'm going to say 274.15, likely within 3 to 5 days, where we could top out through next week. So this is an area, this would be a 3 to 5 day target above 257. Where are you? 257.59. So 257.59 is a meaningful pivot point through the rest of the week, below which 245.08 is likely, above which expect 268.58 within just a day or two, and the 274.15 formation within 3 to 5 days. I don't know if there's anything else that needs to be said or can be said beyond what I already have said, so I'm going to leave it at that. Please click like, share, subscribe, and check out wickedstocks.com. I'll be back tomorrow with Tuesday's Tesla. You have a great day.